everybody. Will Davis with the Monroe County Reporter. Here's the top story in this week's newspaper. The reporter has exclusively obtained video of that encounter between a city police officer and a city councilman, Julius Stroud, at Kynette Park back on April 12th. We reported in last week's edition about the confrontation, but this week we have video obtained exclusively from Jeremy Malone's body camera that night. Malone, of course, if you remember from last week, he gave two gentlemen citations for being in the park after dark. They were warning tickets. And now we have learned what was said when City Councilman Julius Stroud confronted him. Stroud accusing Malone of targeting people, of harassing people for being at the park after sunset.
Right. Hey, Julius Stroud.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man.
How you doing?
I'm all right. Hey, I don't know if we really officially met each other.
Okay.
And everything. Hey, look, man, I'm from this community. I'm a city councilman as well.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we shouldn't be targeting people over in this area. I mean, we should.
What you mean?
Well, we're here, but we're not at the city park. We're not at Hill Street Park either.
What are you saying?
So
I want to know what you're alluding to.
Well, I'm alluding to, it seems like that people are y'all are targeting people in this area. It's not the first time it's happened.
Okay.
So
I'm hearing you out.
I'm just saying.
So do you know how often I patrol those other parks?
I don't. I used to be a police officer as well. So
okay. But you don't know how many times I've gone over there tonight.
I don't. But
so if I told you I've been there 3 times and I've only been here twice, would that tell you I'm targeting this?
That's your word. I would have to take your word.
Yeah. You can also pull my GPS on my computer.
I could.
Yep. So if you did that, you would know that I've been over there 3 times tonight, but I've only been over here twice. Well, now this is my third, honestly, because I just went by.
So let me ask you this question, and I'm just asking the question.
Okay.
With community policing.
Yes, sir.
Would it just be easy to just say, hey, man, y'all got to go? Man.
Okay. So I'm gonna talk to you just like I just talked to this gentleman. Whenever we get, you said you were in law enforcement, and take your word at that.
Okay,
so,
I was. I'm mandated.
So whenever you make contact with anybody in the city, in the community, every time you make contact, what was one things you did? I'm not asking. I'm just being rhetorical. Whenever you do that, you always run that person.
Sure.
Right. That's what I did. I don't know who they are. So whenever I made contact with them, they're breaking a law. Right. There's a city ordinance that says they can't be in here after dark. That's a law. It is, right? Is it not?
It's a law to drive 56 and a 55. I mean, so we can break down a law.
So you're saying I should pick and choose how I enforce laws?
Sure, you should.
Okay.
Sure, you should.
All right.
That's community policing.
Okay, so I don't know what they're doing over here. I just know it's dark, and they're in an area they're not supposed to be in. So I get out and make contact. I run everybody I make contact with because that's what we do as law enforcement.
I know what we do.
So it'd be terrible if I was out with a murder and I just let them go with a warning. And I never checked them, and I found out I just let a murderer go.
Do you think a murder will be right here?
So that was an example. I'm not saying that.
But we just talked about picking and choosing, right?
That has nothing to do with what I'm saying is if I'm out with someone and I'm running their information, because why I want to know that they're not wanted for some felony from somewhere else. I don't know who I'm talking to.
Well, here's the thing.
Yes, sir.
This is not the only incident.
Okay.
There are other incidents that we're talking about as well. Mr. Walker, you pulled him over as well. You took his ID card. The man was late for work, worked at middle school. Happened right here.
Mr. Walker.
Yeah, that happened about 2-3 months ago. Mr. Walker called me livid because you made him late for work at this park.
I did?
Yes, sir. He mentioned
specifically
your name.
Malone.
Are you Malone?
I am.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Your name.
And what did I stop him for?
Don't know. He called me and told me.
Okay, so I just let him go because his name? Is that what you're saying?
He told me he was late for work.
That's what you just told me.
Well,
so your name
he was late for work.
So where you're going or your name should allow you to get away with things?
No, sir.
Well, then what are you saying to me?
But, sir, we're here in the park. The only thing that you have to do, tell the guys, hey, look, guys, you know, we got a curfew. Got to get you out of here, okay?
Right.
People will comply around here. Dude, I lived here my entire life. They've lived. That's my sister and my brother-in-law.
Yes, sir.
We've lived here our entire lives. You don't have to do all of that stuff, man.
I don't have to run people when I make contact with them?
No, you don't.
So you're telling me don't see my job through.
I'm about to call Chief
and let them know that I did my job. Is that what you're going to do?
And I'll commend you on doing your job.
Thank you.
But at the end of the day,
yes, sir.
That's not what we need around here is harassing people in this neighborhood right here.
So you're saying that's harassing. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Turns out City Councilman Stroud was the one who proposed and supported making the hours of the park what they are. About a year ago, the city changed its rules to make the parks close at sunset. City Manager Janice Hall telling the reporter they had issues of vandalism at all of their parks. Julius Stroud also accused Malone of not patrolling other parks of the city that are not in black neighborhoods. See the entire episode in our story on this encounter in this week's Reporter. Monroe County loves its firearms, and there's no better place to get your firearms and ammunition needs than Redrood Defense, a small family-owned business right here in the heart of Georgia near the Jones-Monroe County line. Check them out for a full selection of firearms, ammunition, and accessories. A High Falls man faces aggravated assault and other felony charges after he had to be tear gassed out of his RV following a shooting incident involving his neighbors. His name is Robert Cook, 51 years old. Neighbors complained that he was shooting his gun. Deputies came to the scene, and he apparently had been shooting at beer cans and told one neighbor he would shoot him too. Deputies set up a perimeter around his RV where he and his girlfriend were, used tear gas to flush him out, and arrested Mr. Cook. He now faces multiple felony charges. See more details in this week's Reporter.
Hey Monroe County, if you're planning a wedding, a big event, a corporate Christmas party, we have the place for you. Our friends at Macon Tent Rentals, Jeff Holloway and his team are Monroe County residents, and they are the best. They are the top of the pack when it comes to tent rentals and preparing for the equipment for a big party. Tents, tables, chairs, lighting, dance floors, staging, pipe, drapes, cooling units, linen, cafe lights, just to name a few. You can even pick up items for rent at their location. Call now for a free quote, 478-746-8269.
Hi, I'm Donna Wilson with this week's Monroe County Reporter Incident of the Week. A High Falls man was arrested for disorderly conduct after admitting to shooting a gel gun at people on April 4th. Corporal Dalton Mosley was dispatched to the Dollar General around 7 p.m., but while en route was told by dispatch the suspect had followed the complainant to their home on Hickory Road in a black Ford F-150. Mosley spoke with a man who stated the suspect was his cousin and had followed him home while shooting at him in his vehicle. A woman who lived next door told the corporal that the man had shot her as well. Mosley was told the suspect lived on Big Buck Trail. Mosley then went to the man's home, where the man had told him he was just having a little fun and admitted shooting the gun, which is a toy gun similar in design to an airsoft gun. He was handcuffed, given a trespass notice, and cited for disorderly conduct.
Hello, my name is Terry Johnson, and I write Monroe Outdoors for the Reporter. In this week's column, I'm going to be talking about an avian flu epidemic that is sweeping across the world. It's caused severe problems with domestic poultry flocks in England, and it has been found in both wild birds and domestic flocks in the United States. It's been found in 30 states, including Georgia. What concerns sportsmen in Georgia is that it has been found in wild birds. Waterfowl, it has also been found in bald eagles along the Georgia coast. So in this week's Reporter, I'm going to be telling you all about whether or not the outbreak of avian flu is going to pose any threat to our turkey hunting season, and whether or not Monroe Countyans should stop feeding backyard birds. All about this and more in this week's Reporter.
Hey y'all, it's Tammy Rafferzeder with the Monroe County Reporter and this week's Everyday Hero. Plant whisperer Bo Shrigley, nursery attendant at the Mossy Corner Nursery located at 3131 Highway 41 South in Smar, moves through the flowers and shrubs 6 days a week, 8 hours a day, caring for them as if each one was something precious and wonderful. He was born in Lake Wells, Florida in 1938 and graduated from Florida State University in 1960 after studying business administration. He then was drafted into the U.S. Army as a clerk typist and served for 2 years. Bo came to Culloden, where he still lives, after being trained to manage a 50-acre cut flower farm in Stuart, Florida, just after his Army stint. He said he used to visit his grandparents, Bob and Isabel Rutherford, on their dairy farm in Culloden every summer as a child and said it was the best education he ever got. He decided he wanted to return and put together a business called Elm Oak Nursery. He ended up with 7 greenhouses and 1 employee. The two ran the business for 42 years until forced out of business by the big flower corporations. 6 years ago, the owners of Mossy Corner Nursery bought one of his greenhouses, which they moved to Smar, and asked him if he would help them set up their business, and he has been with them ever since. He said he works with good people who know what work is and that he needs to up his game a little bit to keep up with them. I'm sure they would disagree. At 83, Bo is well past retirement age, but to retire has never crossed his mind. He said when you die, you lay down for a long time, and he wants to make sure he's good and tired and worn out. Bo said he'd like to tell young people, you can't get those lost days back. Every day that you don't live and work and enjoy, it's gone. You cannot go back. Don't waste your time. Words of wisdom from an everyday hero.
Hey everybody, Will Davis said the reporter. Have you got something you want to sell, doing a little spring cleaning around the house? Maybe you're having a yard sale. Well, we've got a deal for you. The Reporter Classifieds is offering this month only, the month of May. If you place a classified ad with us for just $10, we'll also post it on our Facebook page at no extra charge. That means you'll have 9,000 readers will see it in the print edition. 19,000 more people will see it, our members on our Facebook page. Call Tammy Rafferzeter, 994-2358, and get your stuff moving and make some money today.
Hey, this is Diane Gladwell with news about the community at Monroe County Reporter. Starting next week, it's time for the farmers market is back, and it's going to be back at the place where people have become familiar with going to get their produce and homegrown, homemade items back on North Jackson Street at the shady lot behind Persons Banking Company. And it's the market is there every Friday from May through October. Beginning in the morning when the vendors start getting there to set up and serve you with the interesting things they've got. For a while, we thought that the market might be moving, but for the time being, because of general outcry that people liked it where it is, including the vendors and the customers, it is going to be back on North Jackson Street. And that's this Friday, May the 4th, coming Friday. So be sure and check out the farmers market and see what the vendors are bringing this year.
This book is too funny. You guys should get a copy of On the Porch at the Monroe County Reporter office. Don't delay, do it today.
There's more information that has come to light about that controversial land deal where the county sold 100 acres for just $100,000 last summer. That transaction was not even known about until a few weeks ago in this newspaper when we reported it. County commissioners said, well, yes, they've apologized for not properly advertising it. They only had one bid on the property, a sweetheart deal for sure. But they said they didn't lose any taxpayer money because the property had been given to the county by the Development Authority. Well, the reporter has learned that doesn't seem to be the case. There's no records of the Development Authority giving the land to the county. We've talked to every member still living of the Development Authority at the time and the County Commission. None of them seem to remember it being given. They do. Two commissioners, Mike Bilderback and Larry Evans, seem to remember the county paying about $700,000 for the property, and new documents have come to light supporting that. Find out more details in this week's Reporter.
Meet all your glass needs right here in Monroe County. Glass Technologies, located at 8499 Rivoli Road in Bolingbrook, offers in-house glass cutting, custom glass shower enclosures, residential and commercial glass replacement, and sunroofs. They specialize in residential services and provide free estimates on all their work, no matter how big or small. Give them a call, 478-993-2101, or find them on Facebook.
In sports, in this week's Reporter, the Mary Persons baseball team sets a school record with 26 wins during the season. They did that by beating Crisp County, and now they get ready for the playoffs where they're playing familiar foe, Morgan County. That's the team that beat the Bulldogs at the beginning of the season. Bulldogs have a chance for revenge with a doubleheader Friday night, looking for a big crowd here at Mary Persons baseball field when the Bulldogs from Morgan County visit. Games are at 5 and 7 on Friday. A third game, Game 3, on Saturday if needed to break any ties.
I've been expecting you.
Also, meanwhile, the Mary Persons golf teams making the state tournament, both of them qualifying on Tuesday
has kind of changed
in
since all that noise.
Jason Cox leading the boys.
I guess maybe
and,
the noise will make it a real silent
also
spring, huh?
leading the girls. Find out more in the Reporter, and also in sports. Monroe County's very own Coleman Colley, football player for FPD, commits to the Naval Academy where he will play football. All that and much more in sports.
I just don't know what to say.
Hey, Monroe
this is
County,
not
if you're
good.
planning
It's going to be a
wedding,
silent
big event,
spring.
A corporate Christmas party,